Go live now. All right, it says we're live. Let me confirm that on my phone here. Yeah, we're live now.
Bet.
Hold on. Let me just make sure you can hear my voice.
All right, it says we're
Here we go.
live.
All right, we're good. The only reason I check that every time is I had a couple bad experiences where I found out like 3 minutes in I was talking to nobody, so I always double check.
Oh, that's good.
So it's Friday. We went 0-3 yesterday in MLB. The only bet that I didn't even hit it because I didn't even bet, but the only read I had that was right was Cincinnati money line, and I didn't even bet it.
Yeah.
So like, ew.
Yeah, I know. It was a gross day. Honestly, not much to say about it. Just got to put that in the past.
Yeah. I mean that just sucked. It was 7 games, 3 of them weren't even worth looking at. But whatever. Yeah. We have a shitload to talk about today, and if we just ramble, we'll never get through them all. So let's start. First game. Just saw Beaver some respect. His paycheck is respect. You know, he gets paid handsomely. No, I'm from Jersey, not from New York. All right, first game. Giants at Tigers. Let me put my pick up on the screen before I start talking here. I took, actually, me and Prop Beaver on the same page on this one. I took Giants first 5 plus a half run. And
Giants?
Tigers, minus 110. Tigers first 5 plus a half run at minus 110. It's tough to get behind Manaea on the road. He was terrible on the road last year. He was terrible in his first road start this year. 2 innings pitched, 3 runs, all earned. You got to think this guy is basically an auto fade on the road at this point. That being said, do you really trust the Tigers lineup? This is why I'm taking the half run, because Detroit's dead last in Major League Baseball against lefties. So if there's ever a spot for Manaea to snap out of this road garbage that he's been giving us, it would be against the Tigers right here. That being said, Joey Wentz is on the mound for the Tigers, another lefty who's been struggling. Want to know who's 29th? We just said Detroit's 30th against lefties. Want to know who's 29th? The Giants. This is a lefty-lefty matchup between 2 lefties who can't pitch against 2 lineups who can't hit lefties. Talk about like endless possibilities here. So I took the half run with the Giants. I don't trust either of them, but the fact that I'm getting an even minus 110 and catching a half run, I'll take it.
I'm liking the Tigers in this one. I like what I saw in the series against Toronto. They were providing some fight, so that's good as always. As you said, both teams are horrendous thus far against lefties, but I think it's the level of talent that each team played against lefties that is the main decider for me here. Tigers may be 30th against lefties, but we know from last season this is a lineup that is going to be better against lefties, and a lot of people that I respect project them to be a much better lineup against lefties this year. They faced, thus far, Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Jeffrey Springs, and Shane McClanahan. Those are the 4 left-handed pitchers they faced. With the exception of Sale, who sucks right now, does it get more brutal than the trio of Valdez, Springs, and McClanahan? No, it does not. I think Sean Manaea looked good in his last start. I will definitely give him that, but let's not forget what he did the last time he faced the Tigers. Just last year, he visited Detroit, only made it 3.1 innings before allowing 9 runs, 8 hits, 2 homers, and a walk. I think that the Tigers are still being a bit underpriced here in this spot. And ultimately, Wentz did bone us the last time we backed him. That was a pretty brutal one. They were our bet of the day. But he's not usually having those command issues. I think those come back to place today. I think we see some positive regression there. And I think we see the Giants continue to struggle against lefties. So at this big plus price, plus 135, hard to pass it up.
What did you put on the ticket, the first 5 money line for the plus 130?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, you took a risk for us there. But I mean, we're on the same page. We like the same angle, so I'm not mad at it. I feel a little safer catching the half run. I'll say that.
If it ties, you could crucify me.
I give you open permission to crucify me. Yeah. Next game. D-backs, Marlins here. Are you ready for the square? Oh, wait, did it freeze on us? All right, we're back. It froze on me for a second there. So anyway, D-backs, Marlins, Jazz Chisholm ruled out. Are you ready for the squarest pick of all time? Miami, team total, under 4.5 at plus 102. It seems too obvious. Like the Marlins lineup, they've played 7 home games. Do you want to know how many times they've gone over 4.5? Just once. They scored 5 once. So they barely made it over. I get it. Bumgarner is trash on the road. But this is the Marlins lineup we're talking about. And the Marlins lineup without Jazz Chisholm, mind you. I want to take the D-backs at this heavy plus money, but it seems like the books are begging us to do that. Marlins is a minus 165 favorite. Get the fuck out of here. So, yeah, I just went with what I felt like. So I wanted to play this price. The books are giving it to us, obviously. Like, I don't want to just walk into a blatant trap. So I tried to sidestep it and thought maybe if I just take the team total under, I can get around whatever trying to trap they're laying. Might bite me in the ass. But, yeah, give me the team total under 4.5 plus money.
Yeah, so in that game, my lean would just be the under in general. I think it's under at 9, I believe, right now. I just think that the Diamondbacks bats, they are excellent. They look great right now. They're hot. But the problem is, I think that they may struggle a bit on the road. We saw in their first road series against the Dodgers a complete and utter lack of production. And then since they came home, they've been on fire. So it could be the reason the books are pricing them like that is that the Diamondbacks may struggle offensively today. And it is a lefty, like I've said. So Trevor Rogers, he's a lefty. I don't like exactly backing the Diamondbacks against lefty. I think they're going to be much better against righties this year. So I could see them going under their team total. And then on top of that, the Miami Marlins, they're facing a lefty. You always fade the Marlins against lefties. Chisholm's out of the lineup. He sucks against lefties, though. So that's not really a net positive or net negative. What does suck, however, is Luis Arias sitting. That guy has been the staple to this Miami Marlins lineup thus far, doing just about everything he can to get runs on the board. That one hurts really bad. So if you're going to give me an already dwindled Miami lineup facing a left-handed pitcher, even if it is as bad as Madison Bumgarner, I would just take the game under. I think that's the move there. Ultimately, it's a pass for like ticket purposes, but yeah.
All right, I mean, so we're on the same page. Toast is dealing with some personal stuff, guys. A bunch of people asking. Next game. Phillies at Reds. All right. I took the Phillies' first 5 run line. Spoilers before I type it. Okay, so the Phillies were heavy favorites when this line opened yesterday morning, and then the Reds beat them yesterday afternoon, and then this line dropped 35 points. So if you can see on the left side of the screen, this open, Phillies were damn near minus 190 favorites. Now they're down to, I think it's like minus 148, minus 150. That's a huge drop for just losing one day game. Oh, wait, no, was that at night? That was at night last night. Was that a day game? I can't even remember. Was Philly Reds a day game or a night game?
Yesterday, I believe
I watched it, and I can't remember.
Night game, bro.
It was a night game. Yeah, it was 6 o'clock. Okay, yeah. So that's a large drop for just one game. This is a rematch. These exact pitchers went against each other on Sunday. The Reds and Connor Overton didn't get the win. The Reds got the win. See, the thing with Taijuan Walker is he's off to a rough start this season, but he's mostly walking people. He's not really giving up hits. He's thrown, I think, 8 and 2/3, 9 innings. He's only given up like 7 or 8 hits. So he's not getting rocked. He's just struggling with his command. And against this lineup at Cincinnati, I trust him to have a bounce-back performance and look like a formidable starter before I trust Connor Overton to do so, especially with the Phillies lineup coming off a loss. I like what's-his-name to hit a homer. Holy shit, fat bearded guy. Kyle Schwarber. I like Kyle Schwarber to hit a homer because always when he comes off games where he... Oh, that was 2 games ago. I mixed it up. I'm sorry. I like Kyle Schwarber to hit a homer, though. He kills righties. But yeah, Phillies first 5 minus a half run.
You should bet Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run. It's at a whopping plus 140.
Is it really?
Yep. So essentially, you're going to get at least a run in the first 5 with your first 5 run line. I like the over at 9.5 here. I think that both of these offenses still can produce. I'm not exactly sold on Taijuan Walker right now. He's looking like the second half Taijuan Walker rather than the first half Taijuan Walker that we've seen as a Mets fan. And really the walks have been a huge issue for him. 5 and 3 walks in his first 2 starts. Now he's going to see this lineup again. And while he has some decent numbers against this Reds lineup, he does also have a bad history of walking them. At Great American Ballpark, that's not really something you want to do. Just one hard hit could get it out of the park. So I think the Reds can score some runs. On the other side, I think Connor Overton's going to get clapped. I mean, when the books are pricing a home run at plus 140, I mean, it's all but saying that dude's going to smack a homer. And as long as we got some guys on base, I mean, that's going to be a 3 or 2 run shot for Phillies. I just think that.
Would you go first 5 over? First 5 over?
No, full game over. Both these bullpens suck as well.
And that's at 9.5.
Yeah, at minus 120. And mainly, I also just believe that the Phillies lineup's a bit undervalued. Yes, they look like shit right now, but they are better against right-handed pitchers. They just faced Luzardo and Lodolo, 2 pretty brutal draws if you're not as good against left-handed pitchers. So yeah, I think that there's lots of runs. I like the over in this game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Plus 140 to home run Schwarber.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like he always does when he faces a righty. I know that's crazy. You know he doesn't, but it always feels like whenever I put on the Phillies game and he's facing a righty, he hits home run.
Yeah, against a lefty, he'll strike out twice. Against a righty, he'll
what was that prop you were saying when you were here a few days ago? You were like, Kyle Schwarber over 1.5 strikeouts against lefty starters.
So I checked that out. I went to go bet it against Lodolo because he was going to face him again, and it was at minus 135. So they do adjust the price. They're
over 1.5 strikeouts is at minus 135.
I mean, Schwarber strikes out at a 40% rate against lefties. It makes sense.
Yeah, and he always strikes out against lefties. Yeah. All right, next. Twins at Yankees. Oh, my God. Fuck this. I mean, obviously, I can't fade the Yankees coming off that embarrassing loss, so I'll put this on the screen. This would be my pick. But coming off, what'd they lose? 11-1, 11-2, embarrassed at home, with Nestor Cortez on the mound, who not only was great at home last year, but in his first home start this year was excellent. It's just also... Why did it say Tyler Mahle? He's not pitching.
It was at first Tyler Mahle.
So you did the graphics last night. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say. So it's Louis Varland is the guy who's pitching. Have you looked at his numbers? Did you see this is only his 5th or 6th career start, but one of them was in Yankee Stadium last year, and he actually pitched well. Really? I don't know if you went and saw that. He actually.
I don't know how I missed that, but I did look at Louis Varland numbers, and I did miss that. I know he's worse against righties, and the Yankees are very righty-heavy, so that could benefit.
I mean, it's one game. It's nothing to really... it was just... So last year, September 7th, he started at Yankee Stadium, went 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 runs. 7 Ks. Christ. Yeah, he pitched well in Yankee Stadium, but like one game, I fully expect the Yankees coming off the embarrassing loss to bounce back. You can see here... everyone's betting the Yankees, so the public fully expects that to happen too, which is why I'm not kicking the door down to tell you to tail this one. But yeah, I can't fade the Yankees here. It would be a Yankees or pass for me.
I'm just gonna pass on this one. I have legitimate PTSD from yesterday from what Joni Brito did to me. So no, good pass. Sorry,
okay.
I can't even talk about it. It's just too much.
All right. Next game. Yo, somebody's saying he doesn't see that Luis Arias is out today.
I just confirmed it. If you go on MLB daily lineups, just type that in. You could go to RotoWire. He's not in the lineup today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Moving right along. Next game, Cleveland at Washington. I have a play on this one, and you don't, right? You passed?
I think ultimately, if I had to give one for the show, it would be the under here. I think both pitchers are better than they've shown. But,
how are you going to take an under with...
I don't think Cal Quantrill's that bad. I think he's bad, but he's not that bad.
Well,
the Nats are literally 30th in WRC plus against righties. The only righties they hit were in courts.
I will give you this. So this was mine. Washington first 5 plus the half run, and then right before we went live, about 15 minutes before, we had a call and we went through the games because we had to put the VIP ticket out. And the points you made about Kyle Quantrill kind of hit with me. I was like, oh, shit, that's a good point. He was saying that both his starts this year where he looked terrible were against Seattle, who's one of the best lineups against righties. So, those numbers are going to be inflated, and I see that point. That being said, I also think Trevor Williams is a little undervalued. So I still think there's value. I still think there's value on this bet. That being said, if we had that conversation 3 hours ago, I probably wouldn't have wrote this down in my notes. So I'm glad we didn't put it on the VIP. And you said under or pass, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the under at like plus prices at some places. I would take the under. Yeah, under 9.5.
I mean, it's tough.
That's high as shit, bro. It almost is like square.
Well, what I like,
those offenses stink.
I don't like the starters, but what I do like is both these teams are top 10 bullpens right now. And they're both...
That I was thinking of, and their lineups are both underwhelming against righties, both bottom 10.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I could possibly get beyond under. Both bullpens have been top 10, and they're well-rested, so I could see 9.5's big. It's a big number. Yeah. Let's move on, though. Because we have some plays we like, and here comes one of them.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go, Toronto. You heard it here first. Well, I'm sure you heard it other places. But Toronto will win and end the Tampa Rays. They're not the Devil Rays anymore. They are the Rays. I always want to say Devil Rays. Toronto will win and end this undefeated streak from Tampa. I love it. Toronto, they got caught napping yesterday against the Tigers. Didn't use any of their bullpen arms. They were fully looking ahead to this series right here. Jose Barrios pitching at home, which means we're catching value. This guy goes on a road trip. Everyone thinks he sucks. He comes back home and reminds us that he's actually not that bad. In fact, at home, he's pretty solid. Rasmussen's numbers are making him look so much better than he is. I like him. He's solid. He's a good pit starter, but congrats, bro. You shut down Oakland and Washington. Like, do you want a medal for that? This is
the Pulitzer?
Yeah, the Pulitzer. This is on the road in Toronto against a loaded Blue Jays lineup. A team that's been looking... I mean, Tampa just got done with a 4-game sweep over Boston. They had their hands full. Toronto didn't give a shit about Detroit. They're looking at this game, at this series. Blue Jays take the first one. Plus 115. Love it. At home. Taking it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. It seems like suicide to back Jose Barrios, but the books know that. They opened as minus 120 favorites here. I know, obviously, we like to read the line movement, and if it shifts up the money, sometimes we can get scared off a bet, but no, I actually prefer this here. They opened it at minus 120. They took a stand, and they said the Blue Jays are more likely to win this game than the 13-0 Tampa Bay Rays, and I agree with them. Barrios sucks. I mean, he sucks. On the road, he's terrible. One of the worst pitchers in baseball. But he saw much better numbers at home, a 375 FIP, which is pretty damn good, along with a 1.08 home runs allowed per 9. And the last 3 times he faced Tampa, he posted an impressive 1.96 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, and 0.5 home runs allowed per 9 at home in his last 3 home starts against Tampa, won 2 of those. Rasmussen has dealt in his last 3 starts against the Blue Jays. Guess what? He's 0-3 in those games. I think the Blue Jays bullpen is going to play a pivotal part in this game, and the Tampa bats at some point have to slow down. This is a Tampa lineup that I think is going to be deadly against left-handed pitchers all year, but against right-handed pitchers, this is not a lineup that was projected to be top 5, nevertheless top 10. So I think they're due for some regression. They're going on the road. This is a perfect spot to fade them at nice plus 115 price on DraftKings.
Couldn't agree more. Definitely with you on that. All right, let's move on. I covered all the notes I had. Next up is Baltimore at Chicago. I'm on an island on this one. I know that Prop Beaver doesn't agree. You know what? He didn't disagree, though.
I don't disagree. I think it's a sharp play. I put on the ticket happily because, I mean, if you're willing to get there, I'll get there with you. But it's just not one that I love. I like Tyler Wells. I respect him. So,
all right. Let me start out and telling you why most of the sharp action is on Baltimore here. White Sox bats have been non-existent. I'll give you that. And Tyler Wells is off to a nice little start this season. In fact, I think his only road start was really good, if I remember correctly. Don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, he played against Toronto, didn't allow a hit or run for
5
innings.
Yes.
Or a walk.
Yeah, he was lights out in his first road start at Toronto, right. But after those 2 facts, the White Sox bats have been struggling last handful of games, last 3 or 4 games. Tyler Wells has a couple of nice starts under his belt, including one on the road. After that, I feel like everything else points to Chicago for me here. First of all, as it pertains to the Baltimore Orioles, it's very easy to look like a powerhouse when you have a 4-game home series at home, 4-game home series against the Oakland Athletics, and the A's throw 3 lefty starters at you when your team strength is smashing lefties. A lot of teams in that situation are going to look a lot better than they are. I'm not saying Baltimore sucks. I'm just saying their value is at an all-time high right now. Time to sell. Now they're on the road against a better White Sox team. I'm not going to go out and say the White Sox are a good team. They're certainly better than Oakland. They're playing Mike Clevenger, who's not only a righty, but a better starter than anything they've seen. Well, actually, what's his name? Kyle Muller's pretty good, but again, he's a lefty.
Yeah.
I'll say this. They're going to see Mike Clevenger, who's a better right-handed starter than they've seen in recent games. White Sox are coming off a rough series on the road at Minnesota. They also had to go on the road at Houston earlier. The White Sox are playing teams. Baltimore's chilling at home with a 4-game series against Oakland, against lefty starters. Perfect time to sell high on Baltimore, buy low in Chicago. Money line at -105, definitely on the White Sox.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to combat there. I do like Clevenger. I think that he is due for a nice home start here. I like what you said about the bats being overvalued because you're dead right. Not only did they face 3 lefties, but I would consider Waldichuk pretty bad, and I would consider Sears at the current state pretty bad. Muller, I respect. But they lit those guys up. Then they got thrown a right-handed pitcher who is horrible. So, yeah, they looked amazing. Obviously, they looked amazing. Today is a flat spot for them, and I agree with Kyle, ultimately. So I'll ride with you there.
Yeah, I like it. Next game. This is one where you don't agree with me, but another full game money line I'm on, and it feels good. It feels like we're finally into baseball season, that we're taking full game money lines the first few weeks. It's like, let's stick to first 5s. I'm scared of the bullpens, but now I'm getting a better feel. I'm on the Angels full game here. So, first of all, Sandoval was a monster on the road last year. He had like a 2.35 ERA on the road or something crazy. I know at first glance you're like, okay, the Angels are in Fenway all the way across the country from LA to Boston. But if you actually sit down and take a look, the Angels had a day off. So the travel advantage actually goes to the Angels. Boston played in Tampa yesterday. So they had to fly home from Tampa to Boston. They have more miles on their tires right now than the Angels do. Angels are well rested. Not only do I trust Sandoval, but Boston doesn't have great numbers against lefties. And also, the Angels bullpen, second in the MLB. The Angels bullpen has been hot. They're rested as well, like I just said. I wish Boston was starting a lefty here. If that was the case, Angels would be my bet of the day because they've been crushing lefties. Don't have as impressive numbers against righties, but like I said, Boston doesn't have good numbers against lefties either. So, love the Angels here. I love fading Tanner Houck. Give me Angels money line -115.
Yeah, so from a side perspective, I ultimately decided to pass on this one. Just feels a little weird. I was looking at Sandoval's prop lines and the earned runs at 2.5, which he always goes under. So, bit weird there to see that high and see the game total that high. Ultimately, my angle I went with in this one is Patrick Sandoval over 1.5 walks at -130 on DraftKings. Yeah, I know. Walk prop. Very, very exciting.
Over 1.5 walks.
Yeah,
and not even like a juicy one, like -130.
They price them right. Red Sox right now own the 5th highest walk percentage against lefties at 10.9. If you limit that strictly to the first 5, that's a fat 13.9, second highest in the MLB. 4-6 starting left-handed pitchers to face the Sox thus far have cashed 2+ walks, and if you filter that to starters with 4+ innings, Springs and the other guy Beeks did not get there. They were 4-0 to the line, averaging 3.5 walks per game. Sandoval hit this in 21 of 29 starts going back to last year, averaged 2.2, and on the road, he's cashed his last 11 of 15. Game total's high, and Sandoval's earned run line is at 2.5, as I said. Despite going under that line in 23 of 29 games, they have it that high, and with 2+ earned runs allowed, he is 12-1 to the over going back to last year, averaging 2.5 walks. I think there's some really solid value here, or else I wouldn't go on the air and give you a walk prop.
Toast, Yoshida's out, by the way. He said
Yoshida is out.
Yeah.
It sucks because that would help for the walk prop.
Oh, yeah.
He has a very good eye.
A disciplined plate presence.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Rangers at Astros here. I'm going to let you talk. I was lucky, so on our call, I was like, I just threw a bet out there. I was like, if I have to bet, I'll take this. And it happened to be the one you liked. So we're both on the same thing here, but I'm going to let him. He likes it a lot more than I do, so I'll let him talk.
Yeah, so it's a bit square, but I love the Astros' first 5 run line here. The books are all but telling us that Martin Perez is about to get absolutely cooked. Earned run line at 2.5, juice to the over, despite going under 25 or 32 games, going back to last season, averaging 1.8. They're telling us something. Struggling Garcia, Luis Garcia, priced as a -165 favorite. What is that? What is the case here? Well, the Astros lineup is designed to smash left-handed pitchers through a limited sample size thus far. They're 6th in WRC+, 2nd in ISO, and 6th in OPS. Last season, they were top 3 against lefties. What do the Astros do? Smash lefties. And despite posting some decent numbers thus far, Martin Perez's expected ERA is a whole 2 points higher than his actual ERA, and he's allowing an opposing batting average of .303. So I think he's due for a bit of a rough outing here. On the other side, we have Luis Garcia, who's definitely struggled thus far. No debating that. But I think that this is a bit of a get-right spot. Seager's out for the Texas Rangers, so that definitely hurts their bats, especially against right-handed pitching. And through 3 starts against Texas, Garcia's 3-0 with a 1.22 whip, 2.2 ERA, and 24 K percentage, covering the first 5 run line in all 3 starts by a mile. So I love the Astros' first 5 run line. At an even -110, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you on it. I'm down. Also, I wanted to bring this up here. This is what really scared me. This doesn't really show it because it starts at 4 a.m. But if you look over here, yesterday, Houston was priced at -200. And it's just been dropping, even though people are betting Houston. That's what really's got me, like, in a pretzel on this one.
I saw it got to -165, though, and has pretty much stood.
Yeah, it has. Okay, yeah.
So that makes me feel a bit better.
Puts my mind at ease a bit.
Yeah, but the other thing is that, yeah, they could be having a weird line movement on that, but from what the earned runs line is, they're telling me that he's going to get rocked. So unless Luis Garcia gets smacked here, I think that the Astros cover that run line.
I was looking up odds. Did you mention Houston's numbers against lefties?
Yes, I went.
Yeah, all right. Cool. All right, next game. Braves at Royals. AJ likes this one. I'll put my bet up there. AJ's about to tell you, or Prop Beaver, I should say, is about to tell you why you should bet Royals first 5 money line. I feel more comfortable here. Brady Singer, really nice numbers at home last year. I fully trust this dude at home in Kansas City. So I understand where AJ's coming from, and I love fading Charlie Morton. That being said, Kansas City's numbers against righties are awful. It's really bad. They're 29th in Major League Baseball. So trying to back them in the first 5 against a righty starter is a tough sell for me. I feel more comfortable just playing the under. But go ahead. Tell us why we should bet Kansas City first 5.
So the reason you should bet the Kansas City first 5 is that Charlie Morton is an atrocity on the road in night starts. The worst spot for him.
An atrocity.
An atrocity. In road night starts last year, Morton owned a 6.34 ERA, a 4.13 WOBA, allowed 2.6 home runs per 9, and a 1.57 whip on the road in night starts. He essentially gave up 3 earned runs every single start on the road at night last year. So it didn't matter how talented the opposing lineup was. It didn't matter. He just gave up the runs. And I think that's going to happen today. Now, the KC bats are definitely struggling against right-handed pitchers. I must concede that. But I'm starting to see at least a little sign of hope from them at the very least. I'm trying to get the game logs up as we speak because I've noticed they've been hitting more. So, yes, I just pulled it up. They just got 10 hits off of Eovaldi. They got 7 hits off of Jacob deGrom, and they just got 7 hits off of Alex Cobb. In their last 3 or 4 games, they've had 7+ hits. So they're actually getting on base. I think with Charlie Morton's lack of control at times, especially with what we've seen so far in the season, that the speed that the Royals have can get them a few runs here. And then on the other side, I don't even need to talk about my boy Brady Singer. He looked bad against the Giants, but at home last year was absolutely phenomenal. The Braves lineup, I think, is a bit overvalued right now. Over the last 7 days, they're quietly just 17th in WRC+, 21st in ISO, and 19th in average. You look at KC stats in the same time span, and they're right around the same area. So I think we're getting a better starting pitcher here at a plus price at home. So I like the first 5 money line.
Solid. A solid reason. Yeah. All right. Next. Pirates at Cardinals. I mean, I feel like you could overcomplicate this one, but it might be as simple as the Pirates are playing better baseball right now. Like, it's not even close. So we can get this money line at plus 135. I'm sure the Cardinals come around at some point. But Pittsburgh's 8-5. They're 5-2 on the road. That pitcher they got going now, he's got some decent numbers. Like I said, I'm sure the Cardinals will come around most likely later in the season. But as of right now, you got one team who's playing noticeably better than the other team, and they're giving you a plus 135 price without even a pitching advantage. I have to take it.
Yeah, I firmly agree. I just think that, as Kyle said, the Pirates are playing better baseball, and I'm here to officially. Actually, I don't know if I should do this. Last time I did this, the lineup went off. I'm here to say the Cardinals bats are dead. They've had some high-scoring affairs in Colorado, but that was beating up the bullpen, a bottom 3 bullpen in a hitter's park. I'm not very impressed by that. Look at the starting right-handed pitchers against them lately. Over their last 6 starts against right-handed pitchers, those right-handed pitchers combined for a 1.6 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP. Jose Urena was in that mix. He only allowed 3 hits to them and struck out 6 guys. That's like an excellent outing for Jose Urena. So it's pretty evident that this Cardinals lineup is struggling right now. During the 6-game span, they're 22nd in WRC+, 26th in average, and 22nd in ISO against right-handed pitching. If you isolate that to the first 5, they're bottom 2 in every category. Meanwhile, Woodford has struggled more against left-handed batters than right-handed batters. Pittsburgh's a very lefty-heavy team, and Woodford, through his career in 6 relief appearances against Pittsburgh, owns a 6.1 ERA and a 1.65 WHIP. I think those struggles continue. I think the bullpens are pretty evenly matched. I like the Pirates at the plus price.
So you said if you isolate the first 5 numbers that the Cardinals lineup gets even less effective?
29th because they didn't face the Rockies bullpen.
I wonder what a double result on the Pirates as a dog would pay. That's probably close. That's probably close to like plus 190. Juicy. All right. Anyway, Mets at A's, and originally we thought we were going to be betting Oakland here, but I'm not. I'm not really betting the Mets either. I just called it a day with the under. Let's see, that's under 8 is at plus 100. Nice, a lot of plus money plays.
Yeah.
My reason for this is not only does Kodai Senga look cool, and obviously Oakland's never seen him, but also this Oakland A's team just got done playing in Baltimore yesterday. So, yeah, the Mets, just like the Angels, are across country in Fenway, but have the travel advantage. Same things goes for the Mets. Yeah, they traveled across the country to Oakland, but they had yesterday off. Oakland just played a game in Baltimore yesterday. They're the ones where travel is a concern for them right now. And they're facing a pitcher who's a little bit different that they've never seen before. I don't expect the Oakland bats to do shit. But at the same time, I don't entirely trust the Mets lineup right now. I certainly don't trust the bottom half of it. So with this number at 8, I don't think... You also could probably look at Oakland team total under. But the Mets are so expensive here. I saw something that was like Mets... To get into plus money, you had to lay 2.5 with the Mets. Like the minus 1.5 was still like minus 135 or something crazy. So yeah, I couldn't touch the Mets, but I will say I like the under.
Yeah, so I think I found a way that I could still play the Mets, and I could also bet on the main
SGP.
Why I think the Mets win here. Yeah, it's SGP. I'm gonna go with the Mets money line, and I'm gonna go with Senga 6+ Ks. He had 8 or 9, I forget which one it was. Either 8 or 9, and then 6 Ks in his first 2 starts in the MLB. I know that was against the Marlins, who have the second worst K percentage thus far, but Oakland isn't far behind them. They're also in the bottom 10. We've seen guys like Grayson Rodriguez with 6. We just saw Bieber with 7. We saw Ohtani with 10. So we're seeing K guys get to this Athletics lineup, and Senga has the ghost fork, a pitch that not many have seen. And when the Marlins saw it at first, they literally did not know what to do with themselves. So a lineup like Oakland, I think they're really, really going to struggle with that pitch. I think they're going to whiff quite a bit. And I think this is going to be a successful outing for the Mets. We want to get the series started right. We're 4-2 in our last 6 games. So we want to keep the greens going. And I think that's what they'll do there.
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect the Mets to win. It was more just like I didn't want to pay the price.
Yeah.
Next game. Brewers at Padres. I accidentally skipped this one. I don't know. I was going through my notes and I skipped this one by accident. So I don't even have a pick for it.
I like the Padres' first 5 run line at minus 104. The Padres last year were mids against left-handed pitchers and good against right-handed pitching, but as of late, the opposite has been in effect. Since April 2nd, they're 8th in WRC plus against left-handed pitchers at plus 118, compared to just 17th in WRC plus against right-handed pitchers at just 92. So that's a near 26% difference in WRC plus. And while I do like Eric Lauer, the road is not a place that I want to back him. He showed up in his first road start this year against Chicago, but he always tends to pitch well against Chicago. And on the road in 2022, he posted a 4.76 ERA, 3.42 WHIP, 1.88 home runs allowed per 9.
Wait. Did you say 3.42 WHIP? That can't be right.
I meant to say WOBA.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah, I just speak fast and I don't even know what I'm saying at points. But meanwhile, Waka has some solid numbers against the Milwaukee current lineup. And as a Cardinal, he used to dominate the Brewers. I know old history doesn't have the same effect as new history, but an example I could give you last year was Johnny Cueto having excellent numbers against the Astros. Hadn't faced them since 2014 and shut them out in a 7-inning effort last year against them. So some guys just have great history against a team. I think Waka has excellent history against Brewers, has never recorded a loss against them in 17 starts. The Brewers are 23rd in WRC plus through the first 5 against righties over the last week, and I think they're going to struggle here against Waka. So give me the Padres to get off to a hot start after a really bleh offensive day yesterday.
Did that go on the ticket?
Yep.
All right. That's on you.
I mean, what type of comment is that? I can say this.
Well, my pick.
I should have said the same bullshit about your horrible fucking Oakland pick yesterday. Nice under, Chief. It was fucking 14-5 in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I mean the umps were completely screwing.
Yeah, that must have been it.
Over.
The third base coach wasn't doing his job. That was it.
Horrible third base coaching. Just one of the most poor third base coaching I've ever just a horrible performance from the third base coach. Rockies, Mariners. My pick here is Mariners all the way. It's tough to lay 1.5 from the home spot. So what I did was I took the Colorado team total under at 3.5, and I got it at minus 110. This is actually a toast stat. He always says Colorado after a home stretch always they're like 2-11 or 2-13 or something in their first game on the road after a home stretch, meaning whenever they leave Coors they suck and have to adjust to not being in that thin air. Whether or not you want to buy into that, the numbers don't lie. It's either 2-11 or 2-13. I forget which it is, but they suck. The bats just never seem to show up in that first game, so I feel safe on the team total under 3.5.
Yeah, I like the full game under 8.5 here. I think that the Seattle Bats not only tend to hit a bit worse at home if you look at last year's number and their opening homestand this year, but they struggle against left-handed pitchers. And on the surface, Austin Gomber is a huge fade. The guy stinks. But he is better outside of Colorado, and he does have insane numbers against this Mariners lineup. 33 at-bats, and the Mariners own just a 420 OPS and 121 average against Gomber. They have not been able to hit the guy thus far. And I think it's a sneaky spot for that offense to struggle. On the other side, we got Marco Gonzalez, who sucks. I'm not going to say nice things about him. But he is better at home, and the Rockies bats, while better against lefties, also stink on the road. They historically struggled to adjust offensively in their first game after a homestand. I think the same thing is going to be in effect today. The Mariners bullpen is pretty legit, and the weather in this game is horrendous. BallparkPal.com is projecting minus 21% in runs and negative 17 home run factor. Everybody and their mother is on the over here due to the 2 shitty starters, but I think we should play it sharp and go for an under.
To answer your question, where do you get the chart from the bottom left of the screen? My computer. I make these. So they're the only place you can get this information that I know of is the members page of my website. I don't know. Those come from my creation in Photoshop. The actual data is an average of several different sources. The thing is with these money tracking, it's impossible to know how accurate they are because all these different sources have different deals, different contracts with different sports books. So one source might say like, oh, 80% of the money's on so-and-so. And then you go to another source and they're like, oh, no, 60% of the money's on so-and-so. So I figured the best way to do it is I take 4 of what I feel are the most reliable and I average them together. So I feel like I'm getting a good estimation of where it is because I'm getting it from at least 4 different books. It's my theory behind it. I've had success with it. That's what I do. All right, next. All right, Cubs at Dodgers. Shit. It's like such a shitty game for that. I don't want to fade my Cubbies. I don't want to fade the Cubbies.
I know.
I have no pick for this one, honestly. I would take Cubs plus 1.5, but it's at like minus 140, so no.
We wound up going with the first 5 under in this one.
Yeah.
At 4.5, minus 110. I wrote it here. I'd love to play the Cubs. I really would. But Syndergaard has some insane numbers against this Cubs lineup. I'm talking like OPS below 300 with like a very good sample size. So I'm not exactly trying to fade him. I know he looked bad in his last start against the Diamondbacks, but that was the second time playing the same team in a row. I'm never going to fault a pitcher for getting hit up in that spot. And on top of that, he was on the road against the Diamondbacks lineup that I think is quite good. But when he was at home against that same Diamondbacks lineup, he didn't give up shit. He was dealing the entire time. The Diamondbacks could not touch the man. So I'm expecting him to bounce back into that home form that he showed in the first game. He was much better at home last year. He has great numbers against this lineup. I think he should be able to do his job and hold them to 1 or 2 runs here. On the other side, we got Steele, who I'm all over. I love Justin Steele. Last year, he was a great bet for us in multiple spots. He was making us some money. And through 2 starts thus far, he's posted an elite 0.75 ERA, hasn't allowed a home run, 226 BABIP. That's fantastic. We saw the Dodgers hit up Bumgarner. That was their first lefty they faced this year. They faced him twice in a row. But then they faced Alex Wood, a guy they have great numbers against historically. And what happened? They got shut out. So I have a theory that this Dodgers lineup is going to struggle a bit more against lefties than they do righties. I believe it was the same thing last year. And that this is a nice spot to fade them with Justin Steele on the mound. He dominated last time he played them, and I think he could show up here yet again. So the first 5 under 4.5, I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a bet to this game, and when you gave me your reasoning on the phone, I'm on board. So I agree. I think it's solid. I'm down to play that.
Yeah.
All right, do you have a parlay you'd like to share, or Toast? Do you have a hit parlay you want to put in the comments for us?
I'll give the K parlay out.
Yeah, dish it out.
Right now, we're putting Senga in there, of course, for 6+ Ks. I decided to go with Cortez because I'm noticing that lefties are getting the Twins to whiff a lot. So I'm going with Cortez, 5+ Ks. And I'm going to also go with Waka, 5+ Ks. Seems a bit crazy, but BallparkPal.com is pretty wet with their K simulations, and they have him projected for 7.3 today. So they think Waka's going to deal out of his goddamn mind. I'm ready to ride with them on that. They already have the line at a suspect 5.5, so I just took the alt line there, putting it in there. That comes out to plus 207. Not the craziest odds, but I like the
207
with the hit rates. Yeah, plus 207.
All right, there you go. All right, and I'm going to put down a big parlay too, but I don't have it yet. So rather than just make it up on the spot, give me an hour and I'll tweet it out. So if you want that, just follow me on Twitter. I'm sure most of you probably already do. So I'll tweet it out and give me an hour. Just I have to get the NBA ticket up. I still don't know if I'm betting the over-under in the Pelicans game. If OKC forces turnovers, that game will go over by 15, 20 points. But if they don't, and they let Minnesota play half-court defense, I truly think it could be low scoring. Like, it's such a wide range of what I think could happen. It's tough.
So why not just, pass on the total and just pick a side?
Oh, well, I mean, I already have, because I didn't put it in the YouTube videos, I already have a bunch of messages asking. So I at least have to, whether I don't even put a bet out for it, I at least have to mention which way I like, or else I'll just have inbox full of it. All right. Oh, here, wait. Toast hit parlay. Danby Swanson, Kyle Tucker, Justin Turner, Vlad. Jesus, 5 names? Arias isn't playing.
Yeah, he said just take Arias.
Oh, my bad. So
I'm assuming the first 4 names is going to come about to plus 260. I like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Oh, wait, hold on. How do you find 5+ Ks without using SGP?
Okay, so for that, it's really annoying, but you have to have 1 of 3 books. You have to have PointsBet, you have to have FanDuel, or you have to have Bet365. Those are the only books that offer alternate K lines. And in terms of my experience with K parlays, that's the best way to do them because these K lines are sharp as hell. So trying to parlay them, kind of suicide.
I just realized we just talked for 45 minutes with an NBA ticker from last week rolling. Pacers at Sixers, -8. Spurs at Knicks. Like, that's like a week and a half old.
Gotta fade the Sixers in that spot.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come over at give me an hour. So come over. Plan on coming over at 6:30, right before all the shit starts.
Alrighty.
All right, guys.
You guys have a good day.
Yeah, remember to bet responsibly. Let's have ourselves a good one. Oh, real quick, let's go live tomorrow. It's a day game, so I know you have that thing. You're going out. You seeing a comedian tomorrow night or some shit?
Yeah, I'm seeing Tim Dillon.
Oh, Tim Dillon, right? All right, so let's go live at. Most of the games are 4 p.m. or earlier, so let's do an 11 a.m. live tomorrow. So 11 a.m. tomorrow, we'll do it, and then we'll probably won't do one on Sunday. We'll see. Sundays are tough.
Sunday's going to be a bit busy for me, so I don't know if I can.
Yeah. All right. Everyone have a good day. Remember to bet responsibly.
Yes, sir.
Later.
All right, Chief. I'll see you in a bit.
Yep. Later.